As the doofus son-in-law, Triple H once said, "Does it feel like WrestleMania season now?" With less than 4 days from the event, after what transpired on the Go Home show, Monday Night Raw, April 13th, 2026, that answer is a resounding hell no. Hell no. Of course not. This WrestleMania season, along with Monday Night Raw this past Monday, deserves to go into the toilet along with your morning shit. And that's as honest as I can be for you. So, yeah, we're going to talk about this show. We're going to review this show. I don't usually do review shows like this anymore, but hey, it's quote unquote Mania week. We're all trying to find something to latch onto to get semi-interested into this event. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to dissect it. We're going to be as honest and truthful as we always are. So for everybody that is new to this platform, this is your warning to leave right now. If you don't like harsh criticism, if you don't like quote unquote negativity, this is your warning to leave now, because we're not going to be very nice talking about this show of what happened on Monday Night Raw this past Monday. We're not going to BS. We're not going to beat around the bush. We're not going to sugarcoat. We're going to tell it like it is. So if you don't like harsh criticism, if you don't like negativity, you can leave right now. There's a plenty of content creators that are going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. So that's your warning. Man, like, before we even get into this show, like, it's more noticeable now more than ever, to where when I talk about these shows, a Raw or a SmackDown, an actual PLE, and even all of you, whether you might just be a fan, maybe you are a content creator, maybe somebody that happens to have social media that every once in a while likes to talk about WWE and professional wrestling. We all put more time, what? More effort, what? More care, what? More energy, what? More passion, what? Into these shows than the actual company does booking these shows like Raw and SmackDown. Think about that for a second. That speaks volumes, because it's the truth. We put more time, energy, and passion talking about what we are watching on television than the actual company does giving us a product that's worth watching. They would rather beg you to pay a ticket to WrestleMania because they're struggling to distribute more than 45,000 tickets, 45,000 people that are attending this show, all-time record-setting lows for this event over the course of years and decades. They would rather beg you and tell you, hey, 25% off tickets. There's still an opportunity to go to WrestleMania, to attend WrestleMania. They'd rather beg you to attend this show than to give you a product that is actually worth watching and paying for. It's sad. It's sad, and it could not be any more noticeable than ever before. You are struggling to distribute 45,000 combined for both nights. That is all-time record-setting lows for this event. And yet still, you have an opportunity, the final selling point, which is your go-home show, Monday Night Raw. And we all saw what transpired. A show that was lifeless, dull, and that had no care and effort and passion being put into it. And that's all I can really say. And that's your little cold open to this review. So let's just talk about it, man. I'm not going to waste any more of your guys' time. Let's just talk about this show. Monday Night Raw, the go-home show to WrestleMania 42. This was April 13th, 2026. We kick off this show with Adam Pearce and, guys, I shit you not, Triple H, Paul Levesque, Hunter Hearst Helmsley in the center of the ring. Triple H, for the third consecutive week, has put himself in the middle, literally and figuratively in the middle of this entire Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi match. Brock Lesnar comes out, does his cute little shuffle at the top of the ramp. Pyro goes off. He enters the ring. He signs the contract. This was a contract signing, by the way, because we did another brawl for the 10,187th time last week. throwing furniture, creating chaos for the sake of chaos. And now this week, right, we don't want that chaos. We don't want any physicality. We're going to have separate contract signings. Brock Lesnar signs the dotted line. Paul Heyman says some words saying that Brock is going to beat Oba Femi this coming Sunday. And that's your segment. Wait, James, wait, what? Hold on a second, James. I didn't watch the show. You're telling me that's all that happened? Yes, guys, literally, that is all that happened. Your opening segment, and you cannot start off a show more dull and lifeless than you did this past Monday. You have Brock Lesnar on your show. This is your go-home show to WrestleMania. That's all you have? Oh, James, but what could they possibly do? What else can they do to sell the crowd? People are already interested, really? Stop, man. Stop. Come on, dude. You cannot tell me that there was any ounce of effort or any creativity put into that. If you don't want physicality, fine. Get creative. Even if people are interested in the match, which I'm sure there's many people that are, use this final show as an opportunity for fans to go from wanting to see the matchup, hey, I want to see this matchup, this is interesting, to where it becomes a necessity. But you know what was not a necessity? Triple H putting himself and his big nose involving this entire situation. Bro, like this is how much this dude has lost touch with his own product and his own fan base. We can all agree that the honeymoon phase is over. And how this dude needs legitimately needs to be fired. It's opening segments like this for how dull and lifeless it is, how literally outside of just signing a contract for a matchup that has no title on the line. Why is there a contract signing 4 days removed from the event when you have other matches, title matches, main event matches that have dealt with Adam Pearce and security, chaos and controversy everywhere, whether it's Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. But Triple H inserts himself into this, and you want to know why? Because it's one of the few matches that people are actually semi-interested in watching, right? Since this started, fans were like, hey, man, Brock and Oba Femi, man, that's interesting, man. I want to see that. And he thinks that it was a necessity to say, you know what? To add to this, I should insert myself and put myself on television because that's what's going to make the match feel more important because I'm involved in it. Bro, nobody gives a fuck about you, bro. Read the fucking room. People were already interested in the match. There was no necessity for you to be involved in this now for the third straight week. And what are you going to do? Are you trying to play a character on the show? You have a gimmick in your chest. What the fuck can you possibly do? What necessity was made for you to be involved with Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi in a match that people from the jump were already interested in? And you decide to build off of that to insert yourself into this. Instead of doing your job correctly, you sit back there and say, how can I insert myself into Brock and Oba Femi to make the match more meaningful? This dude has lost touch with reality, his product, and his own fan base by the day, by the minute, by the second. You have a gimmick in your chest. What are you doing? What could you possibly do? What could you do that hasn't already gotten people interested in the match? People are already interested. There was no necessity for you for the past 3 weeks to involve yourself into this. What have you done that Adam Pearce could not handle over the past 3 weeks? Tell me. Because we see pull-apart brawls nonstop with everybody on this roster that's involved, Adam Pearce, security, and everybody. Come on, guys, stop. Ever since Triple H inserted himself into this build has fallen off massively. And you guys know damn well that's the truth. Instead of Triple H doing his job correctly, he thinks to himself in his own fucking world, how can I insert myself into this build, this match with Brock and Oba Femi to make it more special? Nobody is watching the show because of you, bro. Do you get that? People, Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi, without you involved, was doing just fine. Just fine. But you had to be right in the smack middle of it. And one of those nights, you got booed out of the building because of it. But you like that attention, don't you? Come on, man. You guys know I'm spewing gospel. You know that. Regardless of how you feel, even if you're still interested in this matchup, which again, I'm sure many people are, but you cannot tell me that this build has not fallen off over the past several weeks. And they decide to go the safe route and say, let's just do a separate contract signing. Let's just save all the spots and all the power moves for the matchup for this coming Sunday for WrestleMania. It's the go home show, man. You're telling me that outside of a brawl, you can't do anything else to get your fans interested? You're telling me there's not a loophole, there is not another option or another creative way that you could get people needing to see the match, let alone wanting to see or is interested in the match? Stop, man. There's a difference, guys, between being interested and needing to see this match. This is WrestleMania. This is where wrestling is at its peak, where this company is at its peak. And these segments like this are reasons why this company in professional wrestling is at an all-time low, because of little effort like that to start your show. Don't tell me and don't enable that, what else could they possibly do? Stop. When he doesn't realize, when he has lost touch of the fact that nobody gives a fuck, the fact that you are the boss, the chief cut, nobody cares. Do your job. It was never a necessity to insert yourself with the build between Brock and Oba Femi. It never was. And you can't do anything. You can't insert yourself to be a character because you have a gimmick in your chest, bro. Stop. There was nothing that you could do that Adam Pearce couldn't have already handled when it comes to that situation storyline wise. Nothing. But that was your answer. For the past 3 weeks, the build has fallen off so massively, and it's because of Triple H not doing his job yet again. Let's move on. Speed is training for his upcoming match at WrestleMania. Logan Paul and Austin Theory are helping him out. These segments are actually very, very effective. I still remember, I think it was like a training video of Vince McMahon getting ready to compete in the Royal Rumble or something like that. Like he's training. 1999 Royal Rumble. It was his son Shane McMahon trying to be like the Mickey and Rocky to motivate Vince McMahon to train and to get in shape for the 1999 Royal Rumble. And I think Vince McMahon won that Royal Rumble, by the way. So these types of segments, like these training segments to where it can be like, I guess, somewhat maybe comedy and it can be very, very effective. But here's the problem when it comes to people like an Speed, right? These outsiders, Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee and Little Yachty and all these people. It's like now more than ever, you watch all of these outsiders and how like everything about professional wrestling is just a fallback option for these people. It's just like, oh yeah, I could just go in there and just do this professional wrestling thing. To where you want it to come across to where like these outsiders, these people, these fans who I'm sure maybe are fans of professional wrestling, to look at this from afar and say, ain't no way I want to get in the ring with LA Knight. Ain't no way I want to get in the ring with the Usos. But that's the culture that WWE has built. So, you got nothing on your schedule? Oh, just come on in. But you got to train first, by the way. And these wrestlers like, wait, what? I got to train for this? I thought I could just throw a bunch of kicks and maybe do like some punches or maybe a clothesline and maybe even get a quick pinfall. But that's again the culture that we've built to where everybody and anybody, any former athlete, current athlete, D-list, C-list celebrity could just waltz on in here and just do this professional wrestling thing. You know, it's like I'm a fan of hockey, right? If I just work on skating in an icing rink, does that mean I can go compete in the Stanley Cup? Right? You know, especially playoff hockey, by the way. Regular season, not so much, but playoff hockey, man, that's when it's at its peak. As wrestling fans like to say, cinema, right? Anyway, so yeah, and then later on, you had a 6-man tag with the MFTs and LA Knight and the Usos. LA Knight and the Usos pick up the victory thanks to Tama Tonga and a little distraction because there's some controversy going on with the MFTs or whatever. And then LA Knight, this is really the most eye-opening thing to me. LA Knight is celebrating at the top of the ramp with like one of those foam fingers, but it's like a hand, and then it says Yeet on it. It's one of Jey Uso's merchandises. Merchandises? It's one of a merchandise item involving, Jey Uso or whatever. It's a foam finger thing if you've ever seen it. And LA Knight, man, is just like he's just just goofing and just having a good old time celebrating the victory. And it's all for what? For him to wrestle I Show Speed at WrestleMania? For a match that people maybe have forgotten the fact that it's even on the WrestleMania card? For 3 years, man. 3 years, this dude has been white lightning hot. And I think it was official that Triple H has officially cooked this dude now. This dude is cooked to no fucking return whatsoever. Literally, guys, none. And the final build-up, once again, is just for LA Knight and the Usos to wrestle the MFTs, members that they've already fought a gazillion times before. Right? It's literally, guys, like that's a fact. We've done this on Monday Night Raw. We've done this on SmackDown. So we're going to do it again. The go-home show to WrestleMania. Let's send the MFTs over to Raw and face LA Knight and the Usos for the 10,167th time. So yeah. And then, you create controversy with the MFTs. Solo Sikoa and the MFTs, they're not even, I guess their street fight is going to be their WrestleMania. Just like, they're going to do the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So that street fight against the Wyatt Six, because everybody desperately needs to see that. That needs to be a necessity for people to see, is more matches, because the build and the feud has been done so well. We need to see these people wrestle again. We've seen it time and time again. This company does not know how to book factions. They don't. The Vision, the Judgment Day, every which way when it comes to a faction, this company just does not know how to book these factions. So maybe it's better off if you just let everybody go their separate ways. At least when it comes to the MFTs, at least. It's just like, what got accomplished, man? Like, after you watch this match, man, I'm being fully honest with you. What got accomplished for you to say, now I need to see LA Knight, the Usos versus I Show Speed in the Vision? Nothing got accomplished with this, guys. Nothing. Nothing got accomplished. If you want to do a little cute angle with the MFTs, maybe make the MFTs, I don't know, relevant. Instead, you've been doing what? You've been playing hot potato with a fucking lantern. You've been playing frickin' tag. You're it with frickin' Bray Wyatt's lantern, with the Wyatt Six lantern. How about you book the Wyatt Six properly? How about you do right by Bray Wyatt and actually make the Wyatt Six feel like the Wyatt Six? You're going this route because you don't know what else to do. So you're deciding to just blow it up. And maybe that's for the best for a faction like the MFTs. Maybe it is. Because I will say, man, Solo Sikoa, like he's done in spurts, he's done very, very well. But man, like if this was your plan to get people to watch more MFTs and Wyatt 6, if this is your plan for you to say, yeah, this is going to get people sold to watch LA Knight, the Usos against I Show Speed and the Vision, stop. You've lost the plot, homie. Because that's just a flat out lie. And you damn well know it. If there was any match for WrestleMania this coming weekend, if there was a match to say which match really just does not belong on this card, it's this match right here. I Show Speed, the Vision against LA Knight and the Usos. Let's just move on. You got the ladies coming up. Oh, this was freaking great. You had Charlotte Flair versus Lyra Valkyria. This matchup ends with Lyra rolling up Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, who you keep promoting as this great athlete, who's the tallest, the strongest, the most athletic, and she just can't get her shoulder just 3 seconds to get that shoulder off the mat. They used Bayley to trip Charlotte underneath her own feet, and I guess that created an advantage and leverage for Lyra Valkyria to get the pinfall. I don't know. But Lyra wins the match, and everybody in the ring, all 4 of these ladies, are not, fighting and screaming. They're trying to brawl. They're trying to create tension and chaos between one another. The referee is trying to split each other apart. They're just staring at each other, and that's the segment. Guys, this entire women's tag division is a clusterfuck. Everybody out there didn't know what to do. It was so awkward. They're trying, right? Emphasizing trying to brawl for the past couple of weeks. Let's just throw everybody out there with no plan, no direction. And it's pretty noticeable because not even your talent knows how to even sell this because the booking is so freaking bad. Guys, go back and watch for yourself. You can't tell me how awkward everybody is out there. I like Bayley. I like Lyra. I really like Alexa. Charlotte Flair, I mean, how she's being portrayed over the past 8 or 9 years has been a massive turnoff that hasn't worked for this company. It's just like we joke about the fact that a kid with a green crayon can book a better segment in a show than this. Guys, literally, I would listen to when I say a kid, a toddler with a green crayon could have come up with a better selling point in a match than what we watched with all of these ladies, man. They have completely cooked this women's division to no return whatsoever. This women's tag division and the women's division, honestly, alone. With all of this talent, so many talent, and that was your idea. It's like they're legit trying to manufacture heat and pretend to dislike one another. Oh, but James, it's a pro wrestling show. It's predetermined. They obviously they don't really like each other, James. That's part of the story. No shit. How about a sense of realism? A sense of realism to get us hooked to watch these ladies perform. Because that's what the whole point of this is, you fucking idiot. Anyway, so yeah, guys, I mean, the matchup was sloppy. It was botchy. It was bad. And post-match was just as worse. Not only was there no plan, but everybody looked so awkward. They didn't know what to do. They were a deer in the headlights. They're trying to go out there and to manufacture tension by the referee splitting each other apart because, again, everything has to deal with pull aparts and, separating one another, right? Just chaos for the sake of just chaos. But guys, it was so bad. Literally, guys, it was fucking awful. Oh, but I know it's TKO's fault, right? Because last time I checked, I didn't hear anything about an Ariel Manuel about this entire segment. or for what's been going down between every team involved in the women's tag division and the women's division alone. Yeah, but let's blame TKO. Let's blame TKO of why WrestleMania doesn't feel like WrestleMania. Let's blame TKO of why the booking sucks. Why the mid-card division sucks, the women's tag division sucks, the women's division sucks, how there's no interesting, captivating story at all going into this event. Yeah, let's just blame TKO. Stop, man. Stop. We look at just the Pat McAfee situation over on SmackDown, and we are so blinded to not look at everything else that has transpired within over a year and a half, 2 years. It's awful. And you know who's responsible? The doofus who started off the show earlier in the night, Triple H, Paul Levesque, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He's too busy inserting himself with Brock and Oba, like I mentioned earlier. God, was this horrible. This was awful. Speaking of the ladies, you had Stephanie Vacuor come out conducting, not conducting, Kathy Kelly conducting an interview with Stephanie Vacuor. Liv Morgan attacks Stephanie Vacuor from behind. She lunges at Stephanie to where Stephanie collides with Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly falls down like a ton of bricks, and the brawl and the chaos was on. Another brawl segment, because we haven't seen much of those. But here's what I will say, man. This actually was done very well. Not because of the creative booking, but it was the ladies themselves, Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vacuor. I mentioned a sense of realism, right? With all 4 of those ladies earlier on in the night, with Charlotte, Alexa, Lyra, and Bayley. Literally, guys, you can feel the awkwardness and just how everything was so manufactured. It was so noticeable how they were not brawling and creating chaos, but trying to. Forcefully trying to. This felt real, like there was not just amplification, but there was a sense of realism. How Liv Morgan last week, we all saw what transpired with her last week. So you would think that she would be flat out pissed and fuming. What a concept. But bro, like she's like being, again, she's being, send up the rampway. Her eyes are like bulging out of her head, like freaking, she's been possessed by a freaking demon or some shit. Like it was, dude, Liv Morgan, man, I've been saying this for years, man. Liv Morgan has improved so much over the past freaking over 5-6 years now, man. I've just been so proud of Liv Morgan and how she has just reinvented herself and made herself into legit one of the top female stars in this company. And doing so well. And this segment is a prime example for how much better she has gotten in this industry. And Stephanie Vacuor as well, showing that amplification as well. And even though as a fan, you say to yourself, all right, I know this is professional wrestling. I know how this works, but man, it really feels like that these 2 ladies can't stand one another. So that alone, for what the ladies were able to do to bring that sense of realism, is kind of what saved the shitty booking for this segment. And also think about it too from last week, right? Stephanie, and how the same way that Stephanie attacked Liv Morgan last week, you connect the dots to where now Liv Morgan does the same thing, tossing Stephanie into Kathy Kelly. They make Kathy Kelly a part of this situation to where she gets sent off and makes Liv Morgan look like the heel. Like, oh, Kathy didn't have nothing to do with this. Oh, Liv Morgan, why would you do that? Why would you insert Kathy into this? She had nothing to do with this. You put her in harm's way. The dots are connected, man. For how the segment was done last week in backstage and how that translates to how the attack unfolds this past Monday this week, man. That's all I ask for, man. Dots, just some dots being connected and some ounce of realism and amplification that fits the segment. The women's tag division, that clusterfuck I said earlier, did not fit, did not land at all. This somewhat landed because of what the ladies were able to pull off. And for that, for Stephanie and Liv Morgan, salute to you, man. That at least was done very, very well for what the ladies were able to do. And it was the only thing that was semi-decent on this show. So there's your positive. There's your positive, man. I hope that speaks volumes to where every time I come onto this platform, I don't just be negative guys just to be freaking negative. I try every single week to find a loophole, to find some caveat. There's your caveat. Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vacure, man, the last 2 weeks, things have gotten interesting, and that at least is one matchup that has somewhat momentum going into it. But hey, Liv Morgan, Stephanie Vacure, shout out to them, man. Really, really good stuff, bringing that sense of realism and that amplification, that right amount of amplification to really get people to be like, oh, wow, man, like I get this is pro wrestling, but man, this really feels like that they can't stand one another. And when that feeling hits, that's when you know you're doing your job correctly. So kudos to those ladies. Very, very well done. But of course, right, when something's done semi-decently, we then have to go right back to square one. We got to take one step forward and two steps back. We have Gunther and Seth Rollins brawling. Why would you do that? You just had a brawl segment with Liv and Stephanie Vacure. They literally just were brawling and creating chaos and tension 10 minutes ago, and you decide to do the exact same thing with your other match with Seth Rollins and Gunther. Why would you do that? For literally, guys, like back-to-back like promo segments, to where I believe the match in between, I believe was the LA Knight Usos and MFT matchup. And then the very next promo segment, you do the exact same thing that you just did with Liv and Stephanie Vacure. Why would you do that, man? Do you want any feud to stand out? Do you think that doing back-to-back brawl segments like that is going to make any feud stand out to anybody? You just had a pull apart with Stephanie and Liv. Yeah, let's do the same thing with Seth and Gunther. Come on, man. It's lazy. It's freaking lazy. And it's and the whole tension, right? Like, oh, Seth Rollins states that this is personal now. You've made this personal. Like, it's personal to where we're arguing about who the better wrestler is. It's like, oh, Maron, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? But hey, at least we got a semi-reason to why Gunther is even doing this. It's not a good reason, but hey, it's a reason. If you want to find some loophole with this situation. Oh, but don't worry. The matchup, it's going to be a good match, right? It's going to be a good, I know it's going to be a good, it's Seth and Gunther. Of course it is. But guys, honestly, if your excuse is, well, Braun Breaker got injured. Guys, we all knew Braun Breaker was injured weeks and months ago. But you decided still for Seth Rollins to prance around in a mask and a hood, going after the Vision and Paul Heyman, now for the past, maybe 2 weeks? To where now you finally have to call an audible and say, all right, let's just put Gunther and Seth in there. Let's make it known that it's personal now, because we need to know, because Gunther is upset because of the fact that Seth Rollins, that people claim that Seth Rollins is one of the best wrestlers in the industry. What the fuck? I'm sorry, man. Like, it's like, again, if you want to use the injury excuse, man, save it. You've had weeks to call this audible. You knew so far in advance that Braun Breaker was not going to be involved in WrestleMania. He was not going to be a part of WrestleMania. He was not going to be healthy in time. You had weeks in advance to start this, to call that audible. But no, you decided to still prance Seth and the Vision, to continue that somewhat tension and heat and animosity, and then to pivot randomly into this direction. There's no excuse, bro. Don't give me that excuse. It's a BS excuse, and you damn well freaking know it. And that's the reality of it. You have Io Sky getting rolled up by Kairi Sane. Rhea Ripley was involved to try to help out Io Sky. And I think Jade Cargill got into it. She attacked Rhea Ripley ringside. This was enough of a distraction, or I guess for enough chaos, I guess, ringside, for Kairi Sane to roll up Io Sky, and that pretty much was it. I don't really think anything followed up with what happened with Rhea and Jade Cargill after that, if I'm not mistaken. That entire tag team involving Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, you know exactly what it was going to translate into. Rhea Ripley getting back into the title scene and Io Sky going back to irrelevancy. To where her situation is that she's trying to get Kairi Sane to see the light. Why are you still taking orders from Asuka? You don't need to do that. You're Kairi Sane. Go off on your own. Who cares? Who the fuck cares? And yet you have Io Sky for the past 2 shows now. She lost to Jade Cargill. Now here she is losing to Kairi Sane. Io Sky has to sell and be the workhorse of a Jade and Rhea Ripley feud. And yet she's not even in the match. This is what I mean, man. I said this. I called this from the fucking jump. That tag team was just to help uplift Rhea Ripley and to push Io Sky to the wayside. You know, it's the truth. You're seeing it firsthand, and you know what's going to happen next? The next tag team that's going to dissolve is going to be Charlotte Flair and Alexa. Charlotte Flair is going to get back to the title picture, and Alexa Bliss is going to be back in irrelevancy. Alexa Bliss was the one that was getting more cheered over Charlotte Flair. And because this company loves some Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, let's just put them in tag teams with those individuals. And then when all the talk kind of dies down, Charlotte Flair's, she's in the title picture too much. Rhea Ripley needs to get away from the title picture. When that dies down, then when it's time to strike, we're going to put her right back in that title picture. And here we are. Io Sky is your biggest workhorse of a Jade and Rhea Ripley feud, and she's not even a part of the match. And she's the one that's doing the most over the past 2 shows. And she's not even a part of WrestleMania. She's the sidekick. She's the one getting the short end of the stick. Make it make sense, man. Make it fucking make sense. And yet her consolation prize is to be in a match with Asuka. Okay, cool. It'd be nice if we didn't get to see them in the ring 10,000 freaking times in tag matches. We saw them in a matchup not too long ago, maybe a year or 2 ago. I don't know anymore. I really don't. I really don't know anymore, guys. Sometimes I try to find the answers for all of you. Sometimes I just don't. I watch this show and I just become more and more dumbfounded as far as what I'm watching on these shows, what I watch transpire on these shows. So yeah, Io Sky is back to being irrelevant, and Rhea Ripley is back in the spotlight once again. And again, guys, I get it. Rhea Ripley has her fan base. That's great. I'm sorry, man. Like, Rhea Ripley just does not do it for me. She just doesn't. If you want an opinion, if you want a personal preference, there it is for you. Rhea Ripley does nothing for me at all whatsoever. She does nothing but just clap back at fans. She just does nothing but just bash fans online. She hasn't done anything interesting but bash fans online. That's the only sort of headline she creates nowadays. Other than this company trying desperately to make her the top gal in the industry. And yeah, Rhea Ripley is a decent talent. No one's saying that she is, and no one's saying that she's horrible. But it's clear as day what you were trying to do ever since that friendship and tag team with Io Sky started. It was just to get people to to get back on the good graces of Rhea Ripley again, just to buy some time to get her away from the title picture. And when once enough time has passed, we're going to put her right back in there. And is it worth it? Are people talking about Jade and Rhea Ripley going into WrestleMania right now? Because it would be one thing to, regardless of how I feel about Rhea Ripley, if there was a really good storyline being attached with Rhea Ripley, then hey, then whatever. But the fact that there isn't, you knew that Rhea Ripley was getting a lot of backlash because of the fact that she was always in the title picture. You put her away from the title picture just to put her right back in that same spot. And the storyline that she's involved with Jade has been a complete failure. You had an opportunity to where there was some sort of real tension and controversy that was spread online between her and Jade Cargill. And I'm sure bygones were bygones backstage. We're like, hey, listen, man, we don't got to be friends, but for the sake of the company and the sake of putting on good television, let's make this work out and let's put on a good product for the fans, right? And yet nothing that they said to one another was translated into the story, that the actual story. They're, instead of taking some of that realism that was exchanged between these two online, use that to your advantage. Nope, they just said, nope, not one. They just talked about how bigger muscles I have than you, right? And how my body is for wrestling and your body is just for aesthetics and looks. What the fuck? You know, us Jade Carg, you know, and Jade being inserted with Meechin and BFAB, I think that's a great booking move. But you had an opportunity with Rhea and Jade right then and there, and you decided not to acknowledge anything that they did online. You want to insult everybody's intelligence and go into a most manufactured way to build up heat and tension. Come on, bro. So yeah, it's a mess. The women's division, man, it's a mess. And if you think that I'm going to blame TKO because of it, you got another thing coming. I just spewed honest and being truthful to all of you about what is transpiring within the women's division. The tag division, the women's division itself, guys, there is literally nothing. We go into a tag match. I think this was Rusev and JD versus Javon Evans and I believe Dragon Lee. This ends with Rusev just beating everybody up. I think Penta got involved and Rey Mysterio got involved. And Rusev stands tall. Obviously, with being this close to the event, obviously Rusev is not going to win the Intercontinental Championship. There's so many people in this ring that are not even booked well enough to be in this spot anyway. You know, it's just like this is your Intercontinental Championship title scene. To where instead of keeping the title on Dom, you put all the focus and heat and attention on Dom and Finn Balor. You have Finn Balor teasing for the Demon to return. The Demon. Wouldn't it make sense to give Finn Balor a really big moment, climactic moment by him beating Dominic for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania as the Demon? Oh, James, but it wasn't, the title's not needed. Sure, yeah, it's not needed, but it called for it. Because what other situation with the title that was more important? You're telling me this is more interesting and more important, Penta, in a ladder match with other wrestlers that have not been booked properly leading up to this? Come on, man. I was like, oh, Rusev, he's showing his dominance. He's taking out everybody. How about you made Rusev relevant over the past couple of weeks? He takes out everybody. You want to show how Rusev is dominant and how Rusev is a monster. He just took out everybody. Nobody cares because you've made Rusev irrelevant to the point of no return. Nobody cares about Rusev because you made Rusev irrelevant. Nobody gives a fuck about anything that is involving this title. Yeah, sure. Everybody at WrestleMania, they're all gonna, and this is the problem with with professional wrestling and fans. We know that they're gonna go out there and put on a good performance in a ladder match. We know that. We know that Seth Rollins and Gunther are gonna go out there and just put on a really good matchup. We know that, guys. But that's the problem. The wrestling is not the issue. It's the booking and the creativity that's the issue. And the only thing that we can attach ourselves to is, oh, it's just going to be a good match. That's literally it. And then I think this is the part where we get to the main event. The main event, to where you have Roman Reigns and CM Punk, to where for 15 straight minutes they just run down a bunch of lists of why they just don't like each other. I don't like you, Roman, because of these reasons. And Roman Reigns states to CM Punk, I don't like you for all of these reasons. And that was it, and the show goes off the air. But there's nothing else that I can really that I can really tell you. That's literally all that happened. After what's been said, and this is what I've been saying about how you got to be careful with doing all these face-to-face altercations, right? And these quote-unquote pipe bombs. Every single line in a promo segment, it's always got to be a pipe bomb, right? We always got to over embellish. Oh, that was another pipe bomb by CM Punk. Another massive pipe bomb. It's just a good promo. It's just like freaking, what was it, last week or so? Like, it was just a good promo. Can we just call something a good promo? And just it's nothing more than nothing less than that. Honestly, it's just the over embellishing, man, is just like it goes beyond to no return. So yeah, that's your show, man. That's literally your show. Outside of Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vacuor, guys, I got nothing for you. Roman Reigns and CM Punk, they try to say some words to tell one another why they don't like each other. And the show just goes off the air. That's your final selling point for WrestleMania. And that's it. And now we got WrestleMania itself to see what's going to transpire. I don't think this would ever happen, man. But, man, there comes a time to where I truly, truly hope that if Triple H is going to be removed from the position that he's in, The Rock and Brian Gerwitz, man, an actual writer in Brian Gerwitz, because make no mistake, we need writers, creative writers who are passionate, that know this business. You saw what Brian Gerwitz during WrestleMania 40 was able to produce involving The Rock and Cody Rhodes. That was Brian Gerwitz's work. Triple H was a small microcosm. Why? Because he approved it. But make no mistake about it, man. We need writers that are passionate, that truly get this business. Actual creative writers that know what they're doing. For 3 years now, man, Triple H has had 3 losing seasons. It's like any other sport, to where if you're a general manager or a head coach, for 3 years, you've had losing season after losing season. And when you have not done your job correctly, guess what happens? You get fired. With my best Vince McMahon impression. And that's what it comes down to, man. It's clear as day that Triple H has lost touch with the product and the fan base. He needs to go. This shit is unacceptable. This should not be acceptable to you or to anybody else. The only thing that was semi-decent was the realism between Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vacuor. Outside of that, guys, this show was forgettable. This show was absolute garbage. And if I'm being too harsh, then tough shit, man. This is WrestleMania. This is where this company should be at its peak when it comes to storytelling. And like I said earlier in the show, it is at an all-time low. There has not been one story. I said this last week. There has not been one story that has been told correctly from start to finish, and you guys damn well know it. So that's your final build. And this will probably be the last WWE topic that I talk about up until reviewing WrestleMania itself. So I'm doing my co-host Brian, I'm doing him a favor to where the next time you see me and Brian, which is going to be later this week, we're going to talk a little bit about AEW Dynasty, which I haven't been able to watch the full show yet. I saw all the results, and I want to save all my thoughts with Brian because he wants to talk about it as well, and we'll go over it, we'll dissect it. So yeah, but the reason why also I was not able to watch um, Dynasty this past Sunday because I did attend a Major League Wrestling show, MLW, in Charleston, South Carolina, which was great. I had a really good time watching wrestlers like Karrion Kross, Dijak, Matt Riddle, people from New Japan, CMLL. Really good stuff, man. Really, really good stuff. Definitely will be attending another MLW show. And the best part about it is, man, that I didn't have to pay an arm and a leg to freaking attend the show, which is always a plus when it comes to indie shows, man. So yeah, got to meet Dijak, by the way. Shout out to Dijak. Really, really cool dude. Was able to meet up with him after the show. I just want to say this too, and I don't know if he'll ever watch this or see this, man, but was able to talk with him for like several minutes and literally just, and I also took a photo with him, which was really freaking cool. At some point, maybe I'll put that up on our socials for you guys to check out. But one of these days. But I literally, man, just for several minutes, just telling him how I feel about his work and and everything that he does as far as his character and his wrestling, man. And for just several minutes, man, just because you guys know how I feel about Dijak, man. I've always talked about Dijak to the highest degree. I'm very, very high on a wrestler like Dijak because of how he goes the extra mile. If you watch Dijak perform, he's the most amplified and brings the most realism in every single match and situation. How amplified he gets and what he brings to the table when it comes to his character and obviously what the situation, bestows itself. But Dijak, man, he is one of those dudes to where I just respect so much of this industry because of the fact he is one of the few. And there's a lot of people who are talented in the industry, but he is one of the few that goes the extra mile. If you watched his matchup with Ilya Dragunov back in NXT, you see the little things that he does. Those low moments in the match, you see the little things that Dijak does to sell the moment. And it's those things for me as a wrestling fan, why I love people like a Bray Wyatt, why I respect people like Bray Wyatt, and why I respect people like Karrion Kross, because it's those people that go the extra mile when they don't really have to, but they do it because they know how important it is to sell the match, the feud, and also themselves, selling themselves, bringing that sense of realism, that in-ring psychology, knowing when to slow things down, knowing when to interact with the crowd. And Dijak does that. And for that, I respect Dijak, and I wanted him to know that from me as I looked him dead in the eyes and told him that. And I just appreciate him for doing that, for always being that type of performer to go the extra mile when not a whole lot of people do in this industry. And maybe, I don't know if he realizes that, maybe he does, but, I wanted him to know that it doesn't go unnoticed. And it's why, again, I have respect for people like Bray, which is why I love Bray Wyatt and why a lot of people respect Bray Wyatt in the industry because of how much care and effort he put into his craft and the same energy and effort that Dijak and Karrion Kross, they put into their craft. when they were in WWE and what they're still doing to this day. Karrion Kross, man, the dude's got 3 world title belts right now with several different promotions, man. Freaking good for him, dude. The dude is thriving. And that is the type of booking that he should have gotten for how important he feels. How he is booked, how he has come across is how he should have been portrayed in WWE. Everything that Dijak is doing, to where he fought against Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, man, one of the best matches of the night in that MLW Fusion show was that 6-man tag match that involved the Good Brothers, Corbin, who's now gone by Bishop Dyer, I believe, and Dijak himself, man, one of the best matches of the night. It was because of the little things that he brought into that match. And sometimes, man, I feel like we're slowly fading away from that in professional wrestling. Because we need more people like Dijak. We need more people like Karrion Kross. We need more people like Bray Wyatt brought to this industry. To where it's the little things, man. To where when you take away, the spots and the power moves, right? When the matchup is, when the matchup dimmers down, right? When it's the low point of the matchup, that's where the true storytelling is being told. And Dijak does that better than anybody else in this industry. And for that, I salute him. And a lot of people should take notes for how Dijak portrays himself, sells the match, and knowing how to make a situation feel legitimate and bring that realism to the situation. And it's matchups like with Keith Lee, like with Ilya Dragunov, and so many other situations that Dijak has done, matches that he has done, because it's the little things that he does in matches that amplify the match and to make the match 10 times better. Karrion Kross the same way, Bray Wyatt the same way. And we need more people like that. We need more people like Karrion Kross. We need more people like Dijak in the industry. It's why I respect those individuals more than anybody else in the industry. And I respect any wrestler that goes out there and puts their body on the line. There's no question. But it's the wrestlers, again, that go the extra mile when they don't have to, but they need to. They do it because they know how much of a necessity it is. And that is what I respect. That is what I respect about Dijak, and I loved how I got the opportunity to tell that to him. And it brings a smile to my face telling that to all of you. So I believe MLW is going to be coming back to the Carolinas, I believe, in September. So I'll definitely try to attend another show. It was a great time. I had a blast, man. A lot of really good stuff. A lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces. But, man, indie shows, man, it's just like it. You're reminded of, man, like professional wrestling. There's still that entity of what makes professional wrestling so special, and to where you take away yourself from the WWE bubble and you watch, indie shows, other promotions like a New Japan or like a CMLL, like a Major League Wrestling, and there's still that entity of what makes professional wrestling special, creating the right amount of chaos with the right people involved. And that's what makes professional wrestling special. And that's what still makes me a fan to this day. So, and yeah, man, that's my TED Talk when it comes to Major League Wrestling. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Once again, me and Brian will be talking AEW Dynasty this coming Friday. I will be talking WrestleMania, both night 1 and 2, not knowing how I'm going to, I guess, upload that or publish that to you guys. Not sure if I'm going to do both, just one upload of night 1 and 2, or make them 2 separate uploads. So just make sure to just stay tuned for that as far as that is concerned. I want to thank all of you guys once again for subscribing, for hitting that like button, smashing that like button, commenting, interacting with us. We appreciate you guys so much. Everybody on YouTube, we appreciate you guys. We're very close to 750 subscribers, man. Appreciate all of you guys for smashing that subscribe button. Of course, check us out on social media, Instagram and TikTok, Ruthless_Talk. more content coming your way. It is WrestleMania week. There's going to be a lot more stuff to talk about. Stay tuned for a collaboration on Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. We'll be going live on YouTube talking WrestleMania and everything as far as the build-up to WrestleMania is concerned with Sean, who is the host of Hubbard Wrestling Weekly, and so many other content creators. I will be a part of that. Looking forward to that. Definitely check that out. I will be posting stories and everything, notifications and everything for all of you guys to check out as far as that is concerned. So shout out to Sean, Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. Looking forward to that. That's going to be Thursday night, April 16th. So definitely tune into that when the time comes. So yeah, that is your Monday Night Raw review. Not knowing when I'm going to do one of these again, because again, there's just, when it comes to this product, man, there's a reason why review shows haven't been as consistent as they have been over the past year and a half or so, because it's not much to talk about. There just isn't. But since it is WrestleMania season, trying to find some loophole to be semi-interested, man. For me to get semi-interested, man, I love talking pro wrestling, whether I bash it, whether I praise it. I love interacting with all of you guys at the end of the day. No matter how harsh or critical we are, no matter how honest and amplified we are, we do this because we love professional wrestling. Make no mistake about it, man. No matter what I say, it never comes from a bad place. And just always remember that, man. We do this. We talk about this. We're passionate about it. We criticize it because we love it. It never comes from a bad place. We all want to make we want professional wrestling to be great again. And that will always be the mission statement of building a community like this. And that will never change as long as this platform is still up and running. So thank you guys once again. That is going to do it for this episode. Make sure you guys stay tuned for more content to come. My name is James Porcelli, and I am signing off saying salute, peace out, and take care, everybody. Toodles.